Hello, and welcome to another video of me, the Assassin, where today we're going to be talking through the whole of this Assassin's Creed storyline, and we're going to be starting with the war between the Templars and Assassins, which has been on for thousands of years, from the Roman Empire to the Third Crusade to the Renaissance period, or the Italian Renaissance, to the Golden Age of Pirates, to the French and Indian War, on to the American, French and English Revolution, and has come forward into the modern age. Both the Assassins and Templars look for peace, but they go for it in different ways, and they have different views where people should be. Oh wait. The Assassins believe that mankind should be free to make their own choices and follow their own paths, where the Templars believe trusted and peace is to control the places of Eden. In his bloodline being an assassin, he starts his training off and then moves on and decides, oh wait, he was raised to be an assassin by a young age, but he chose to leave his heritage behind and became a bartender in New York, and was soon after captured by Abstergo Industries, and then was thrown into the Animus, a device which allows people to relive the memories of their ancestors. Abstergo is apparently the modern day face of Templars, and the reason behind Desmond being apprehended was for Abstergo to look into the memories of Desmond's ancestors to be able to find the pieces of Eden. Using the Animus, the Templars forced Desmond to relive the memories of one Altair, who when you first catch up here, he also then tries to attack one of the Templars who stands between him and the piece of Eden, and in doing so getting one of the two assassins with him at the point killed. When he then returns to Masyaf, place of the assassins in the Third Crusade, he is then stripped of his title of Master Assassin and is set on a quest to redeem himself by killing 9 Templars. And in doing so, he finds out from the final and ninth Templar that there is a 10th Templar there, one to be his leader, Alim, who then goes on to use the by the time Altair returns to Masyaf after killing Robert de Sabla, he then sees all his assassin brothers at the hand of the Apple of Eden, which is being used by Alim, who is now using the Apple of Eden to control everyone. And Altair and and Alim go on and fight, bringing Alim to his knees and being killed by the assassin Altair. Altair then goes on to become the leader of the assassins and the master of his brotherhood. Once Al-Mualim is dead, which then shows him a map of where pieces of Eden are around the world. And this was the part of the memories of Altair that AfterGlow was originally looking for. After killing his master, Altair then goes on to become the leader of the assassins and starts his own little family. After leaving and returning after a while of time away from Masyaf, Altair then returns and finds that he then finds that his rival Abbas has seized control of Masyaf under order and attempts to steal his Altair's piece of Eden. Crushed by his losses, Altair then flees Masyaf and goes into hiding. While in exile, Altair finds these ancient artifacts called keys. And he takes 6 of these and puts his most significant memories on them. Altair then returns to Masyaf to reclaim the order by killing Abbas, and then reclaims his position as mentor and builds a library beneath Masyaf, and gives some of the keys to Polo. And then Altair then seals himself inside the library with the final key and his piece of Eden. Now that AfterGlow have what they were looking for, they decide they have no more need for Desmond. But Lucy Stillman, an undercover assassin for the steps in and saves Desmond's life. And using Altair's eagle vision, Desmond then finds, written in blood, stuff about 2012, written by Subject 16, the person AfterGlow were testing on before Desmond. Lucy then breaks Desmond out and takes him to 2 other assassins who have their own version of the Animus. Hello and welcome back to the Assassin's Creed storyline. This is part 2. This probably will be the last part. So there is actually one thing I missed off at the end of the last part before Desmond decided he wanted to go into the find the temple that will save everyone. And that is the destruction of Animus Island, which happens literally as soon as Desmond decides he's going to try and wake up. And basically at the very end, Clay holds Desmond, which basically imprints something onto Desmond's hand, which comes in handy for my theory, because it's kind of like how's the best way to put this? A sort of like symbols. He puts these ancient symbols. He basically imprints ancient symbols onto Desmond's hand, which, when I get around to the theory, I will explain more about. Which now brings us to the recap of the last part, which we finished with them entering the temple, which I can't really show now because I've already completed the game on this one. And so, when they enter the temple, Desmond then kind of like faints, because he goes into a sort of like, I can't really say phase, but he ends up looking like he's in the Animus and becomes Haytham Kenway, which is Connor here's father. And at this point he is in England, merry old England, and he's on his way to collect this kind of like king, which after that Haytham then travels to America in order to find that Desmond and everyone is actually inside, but he can't get inside because he didn't have the apple. Not knowing that, he then goes on to have a kid, which is Connor, with a Native American woman, and England from there to look to finishing everything. And then finds out at the end that Desmond needs to go to a Davenport homestead, where by the end of the game Desmond needs to uncover the amulet that Connor has actually buried in Achilles, I believe it's Achilles' grave. And then they go on to unlock the final part to the temple, and by doing so they practically release Juno, and as everything's about to basically all hell's about to break loose, Minerva appears and tells Desmond not to do whatever he's about to do, basically releasing Juno, saving the world, as Juno and in doing so lose control of literally everything. And Desmond goes on to basically give his life for everyone to live. And that basically concludes. Oh no, let me just finish this. And in doing so, Desmond puts his hand upon the eye, which is what he needs to do to release Juno and save the world. Which he then puts his hand upon the eye, releases Juno, saves the world, but in doing so he gives his life. Which here comes into the theory, basically, where I can quickly check if I can relive that final part. Animus database. Is there anything? No. Come on, I need to find DNA tracker. We need to go through along to the end. Okay, no, not those. Is it those? Sequence 12. And we need. Wait, are we even able to check the last bit? Ah, doesn't look like we can do it. But basically, in the final cutscene of the game, you then basically, as I said, Desmond puts his hand upon the eye, and as I was on about earlier, the hand that had the imprint, ancient, kind of like ruin imprint sort of stuff on it, puts that hand on, and when Desmond then falls to the floor dead, he then, the hand print is not dead, and this basically concludes the, oh no, can go on to, I'm going to pause the video here and switch across to the next place. We now go back a bit further than Haytham and Connor to Haytham's father and Connor's grandfather, Edward Kenway, who isn't really an assassin until basically the end of the game, and we come to the point where we are in the age of pirates in the West Indies, which, to be honest, is probably one of the greatest parts of history. And the reason we have now come to Edward is for a person he meets, and that is, or we should basically go through this a bit better. And say it's more of a couple of people he meets, or you see in this game. Let me just fight off these people and I'll carry on. Captain, who is the sage in the time of history we're in now, and basically there's a temple called Altair, and that is why the Templars needed the sage, and that's how Edward came across him, because he was, at the very start of the game, he was basically in it for the money. That's the best way to put it. So he killed Duncan Warpole and took his identity for a bit while he was in Havana. And let alone, by the end of the game, Edward has killed Mr. Roberts, who is the sage again. You then come out of the... see if I can actually play... Wait, can I do this? I wonder, can I do it? No, because I haven't completed the game on this one. But when you get to a certain point in the game, you're then out of the Animus, and you have to go see John from IT, who, yes, you'll probably have guessed when if you see him. Probably try and leave a picture somewhere in this video for him. He is another sage, or should I say a reincarnation of the sage. And he then injects you with a poison, which then is meant to make the person it's injected into weak enough for Juno to take control of their body, and in doing so, he doesn't get to the point he's hoping to, because before he can finish what he started, and in his blood there is traces of the ones who came before, and then go on to basically put his body into a frozen like state of mind in Paris, and that is basically as far as I'm going to be able to go with this part of the storyline. Hello, and welcome back to the Assassin's Creed storyline, where you may be wondering now, why have we come to Shay Patrick Cormac? That is because he shows a side to the assassins that no one else could. That is a side that the assassins aren't the peacekeepers, but they're also the enemy of peace. As free hostages. Okay. Wait. Also, if I can find the point in the game, and that'll be in the database, I believe. Is it? No, it's progress tracker. Try and find the right sequence. Is it this one? Keep your friends close. No, it's not that one. Wait, is it? Might be this one. Actually, no, it is this one. Oh, try and work out which one it is. It's sequence. Is it sequence 2? Oh, here it is. Sequence 2, memory 4. Basically, up until sequence 2, memory 4, Shay Cormac is an assassin. He thinks he's doing the right stuff and everything until he goes to collect a piece of Eden hidden within Lisbon. And this piece of Eden basically destroys Lisbon. And then Shay returns. He returns to Devonport Homestead, where a ton of kids originally.
I shall be forever grateful to you, sir.
And basically he goes to find answers. And in doing so, he basically loses everything as an assassin, tries to leave with the manuscript that they once had, or the assassins have, telling them where the precursor temples are. And in doing so, in his escape, he gets shot and then falls off a cliff into some water. So for the time being, the assassins think he's dead. He then starts helping out the Templars, being inside the Templars are doing, and seeing that what the assassins are doing is wrong. And in doing so, he kills his former brothers and sisters in the Assassin's Brotherhood. It's only when it gets to the end of the game that you find why Achilles basically walks. He hobbles along because he was shot in the leg by Haytham, which is something that his father, Connor's father, never said. Also, the son of Achilles, his name was Connor, and it's not the Connor we're thinking of from the Assassin's Creed storyline, but I think it's the reason behind Achilles giving Connor the name Connor when it comes to him being an assassin and everything. And basically, the best way to put it, the better person in all the Assassin's Creed stuff is probably Shay, because he wants to make everything better. He doesn't want to go through finding the precursor temples and destroying the world to recreate it in another way. He just wants to make it better. And in doing so, he kills everyone he once knew. And in doing so, if you haven't realised from the outfit already, he becomes a Templar. That's why at the very end of the second part, I said we go on to Shay Cormac, who was once a assassin, or trained an assassin, lives as a Templar. Because he is a Templar with assassin's training. He has hidden blades, and so much more. I believe there's an enemy around here. Damn, she's still dead. And basically, Shay is the best of all, because he has the training and everything, and he's obviously the master assassin because he was able to take down the assassins, but as a Templar. And also, he basically does all he can to stop the end. Not having to do with the original load, because I don't think he has anything to do with. No, he can't have anything to do with Desmond, because he's at the same time as it is related to Desmond somehow, but I'm not sure how. And okay, if you guys enjoyed the whole of the storyline as far as I could do it, because I haven't actually played or been through Syndicate or Unity, then leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and so hey Bale, let's find a Haytham to end this part. We're going to end this in a really nice way. Thanks for watching, see you next time.